Hello, everyone. This is Sharon Creations by Carrie. Welcome. It's Carrie. I have had withdrawals of talking to everyone, and even though I'm tired, I had to get a video out because I needed to talk to my friends. So, two things that I'm going to share is the gifts that I received. We celebrated Christmas on Sunday because my son had to work tonight. So it threw everything quickly at the last minute um, to celebrate Christmas. So I wanted to share with you the crafty fun things I got. And I never got one of these because it's funny because my husband complained I had too many coffee cups. But this is what he got me. It's a Cricut mug press. Really funny. So I'm sorry if I'm out of practice, but I'm gonna do my best to try not to sound crazy. But this is my press. I am super excited. I did do a test. It took me a bit. It's not the easiest thing to learn. The setup is completely different how you would do other things because of the material that you use. I've never used infusible ink sheets, and this is what you have to use on it. So here's the machine. I wanted to show you that. Let me move that and I'll show you what else it came with. It came with black, green watercolor, um, blue paint splash, got some ultraviolet. Then it came with some buffalo check and cherry red. So my husband apparently shopped on Black Friday because he said he couldn't pass up the price that he found. It's a starter kit. So it also came with the blanks, the Cricut mug blanks, 12-ounce cups. Came with 8 of those. And came with 2 rolls of the heat transfer tape. And it came with 2 sets of markers. One's pens, one's markers. Yeah, the 0.4 millimeters and 1.0. I haven't the slightest clue how to use these yet. I got as far as doing a mug. But I think I need some more infusible ink sheets. So I've got a lot to learn. But I got 8 mugs to make. Well, I had to use it. So out came with my own design. So this side has the paw print in the hand. And it says, "Forever in my heart." I found this image a while back. I don't even remember where I found it. And then I did this part myself. Well, that image I found somewhere. But then I took the text part of Cricut Design Space and I typed out, "A bond with a dog is forever." It was my very first cup. There is some imperfections. I tried so hard not to have those imperfections. They call it ghosting, where it kind of makes it look like the ink's bled. And there's a little spot on that side, but happened quite a bit on this edge. However, and then a little bit of fading right here. I don't know how it happened. I tried really hard. The girl I watched a video, she made it look super easy. But what's great about these is most of the time that you make a cup with Cricut, you have to wash it by hand. This can go into the dishwasher, microwave too. So my very first cup, and it's smooth too. You don't feel leaving fingerprints all over it. You don't feel like any raised edges from the vinyl, like when you do a vinyl cup. A little imperfection there. And a little bit there. Something's going on with my blade on my Cricut, so it kind of was a little on the choppy side. But for my first go around, little shadow ghosting right there. Sorry, that was probably super loud. I have my mic on my shirt, so there is imperfections, but it's my very first one. And my machine was acting wonky. So there you go. And then, how I had said in a video that I hope Santa brings me some Bearly Art glue. I got Bearly Art glue. I probably sound like a little kid. He got me the bottle, plus he got me the refill, my son. I had asked him if, because I don't really shop on Amazon. So I asked him, like, next time you go on Amazon and you order something, can you order this glue for me? He's like, yeah, sure. Made sure he got the right glue. And so he didn't say anything, so I figured he hadn't ordered anything from Amazon. And of course, it's the only place you can buy it. Well, they had changed. It threw him off because they had changed the coloring. Because Bearly Art glue is green. Well, he got a little confused because there was no green on it. So I don't know if they've changed the coloring or if it was just a gift set or, one of those sets. Because when I looked it up and screenshot it and sent it to him, it was green and it was only one bottle like this, 4-ounce bottle. Well, apparently he found one that has 11-ounce refill. Oh my gosh. So excited. So I tried this, of course. So I've got to redo my setup in here because this desk is not cutting it. It's not enough space to use your Cricut with it. So I'm going to have to go back to the 6-foot table. And then go back to the drawing table of trying to figure out how to mount my camera wand, stand, or whatever you call it. So that when I touch the table, it doesn't shake the camera and then it doesn't slip its grip. So I'm going to have to go to the garage, dig through some wood, and try to figure out how to make it work. So before I started my work week, which was a super long one, oh my goodness, they had me 9 to 4, I think, the first day, 9 to 3 the second day, and then Wednesday was 8 in the morning till 8 at night, and then Thursday was 7 at night to 7 in the morning, and same thing Friday. Whew, that was one long week. Holy smokes. My brain's on overload because I'm trying to learn their system, and it's a lot. So needless to say, I'm a little exhausted mentally. And it's not going to get any easier because this week coming, it's 7 to 7, 7 to 7, and 6 to 7. Yet it's only 3 days, but it's 12 and 13-hour shifts. So, and it's overnight. It's a lot. So I was told that I can say where I work, but not much more than that. So my new job is with the East Seals. So that part is pretty exciting. So we are now, we're lost on words. So before I started, I didn't get a chance to show everything that I had done prior to me starting my training. But I was playing with my embossing powders. And so I made some goodness, what the heck are these called? Whatever you call them. Oh, I can't believe it. Take a few days off and your brain forgets what things are called. It was hard because some of the embossing powder stuck anyway, even though I used the anti-static bag. And of course, 95% of the time, 99% of the time, you don't notice until you've already heated it and it's there permanently. So that's where some of the specs are happening. I hadn't done words with it before. I've done images. I don't think. But I pulled out some stamps and did it with my stamps. And it's so hard to do as far as making sure that you get a good amount of the embossing ink. So a little bit of a practicing round. But I wanted to do that. And so, nope, my tape's sticky. I used double-sided tape to keep the paper still so I could restamp. And one of the times it shifted on me, so I threw the double-sided tape down. I was like, this is ridiculous. So I also pulled out a stamp, a larger stamp that I have that is like a background stamp, and did that using some of the embossing powder that I haven't used. This embossing powder, I hadn't used the black. I don't think, yeah, mostly used the white and the silver. So I used a couple of the other colors that I hadn't used. So I just double-sided tape. So I was playing with all my embossing powders, and for some reason, I don't, they, anytime you watch somebody, they say, oh, just reheat it if it doesn't melt like it's supposed to. Every time I try that, it starts to brown. So what I noticed in all my testing and playing with them is you can't really stop for a second, like pull the heat away. That's what happened every time I pulled the heat gun away from the paper to like readjust it in my hand. That's what happened. It would lose that right here too. I don't understand why it happens, but it seems like anytime that I pulled the heat gun away from it to adjust it in my hand for a millimeter, a split second. Jeez, I forgot how to talk too. For a split second, it would kind of stop the process of heating, and then it wouldn't do what it was supposed to. So that's helped me understand, because it's happened to me before. But while playing with these, I'm learning that it did on this half, but if I adjusted it in my hand, so once you get it in your hand, you're going to need to make sure that you stay with the heat over it, because if you turn it and then try to come back, you're going to get this. That's what's happened to me every single time. So I'm learning that so I can pass that on to you. And so this was another color that I had that I hadn't tried out yet. And I stamped it. Well, it looks pretty cool. However, that's not what the design's supposed to look like. These little swirls right here is from me pressing on the stamp too hard. So it's supposed to be a basic leaf pattern, and so you can't press it too hard. Learn that in my little testing. And then I was going to use this, but apparently another one stuck to it, and so if I use it, I'll have to put it over a little ripped section there. But I got my green sparkle. This one I had to stamp multiple times because I could not get it to stamp on this end. And it still didn't fully do it on this end, like right there. But embossing ink is interesting to work with, that's for sure. And I also played with my embossing folders. So some backgrounds that I had done a while ago, and I ran them through my embossing folders. So you not only get the lines of the watercolor, but you also get the lines of the embossing folder. So then I tried this one. That's interesting. Did that with the circles. I noticed that this one was cracking, but it was really hard to do with these dipped papers, because when I did a mist on them and stuck them in my embossing folders, the ink was coming off. So I think that's what I used. Can't remember. That was a fun pattern. So I can pick either side that I want to use. Because these ones that I dipped leaked onto the embossing folders. So I had a little fun point. Yeah, crummy too. Got some crumbs. But this one was fun. I like that it's a two type of texture. You've got the visual texture and you've got the embossed texture. So that paper's got some. I sprayed this one too. I don't think that's watercolor though. I think that's part of the problem. This is watercolor. And that's some of the backgrounds I just cut and put in my embossing folders. Tried to do different embossing folders, two different embossing folders with the same background. So some of this is still flaking off. So I think some are not happy about running through the embossing folder after the fact. And I think it has to do with what technique you use. So then I had some fun with an interesting material, aluminum foil. Had some fun with that. Multiple ways of using your aluminum foil out of your kitchen. So I believe, oh, who was it? Dang it, I was going to write it down, but it's been like a week and a half. Shoot. I can't remember who I watched. It's been a while. Darn, I wish I could remember. But she was using like a spray adhesive. Oh, it was. Oh, darn it. The tip of my tongue. Positively paper crafts, I think it is. I like binge watched her. But she was running her. She would put a spray adhesive and then stick the foil down. I tried double-sided tape on this one and realized that that's not going to work because you can literally see the lines from the double-sided tape. So it was experimenting. So then after that, I didn't even glue it down. I just wrapped them. So I sent this one through an embossing folder and took some of my metallic markers from Temu and just picked out some of the designs and put them on, and then cut a frame out of the gold mirror card, and then just cut out a little joy, and then just used a square and placed the joy on it, which is the square from here, from this frame. So this frame was what's inside the frame is another one of her ideas. Is she took aluminum foil, crunched it up, opened it up, crunched it up again to get it wrinkly, mounted it on a card topper, and took some alcohol markers and did little dots in it to fill in like the little dents and holes or circles and different spots. And so I tried it with my alcohol markers and the metallic markers. And then added some bling for the same colors that are in there. And did a stamp flag of fa la la la. And then this one, which is also one of the embossing folders, did the frame in the Blue Mary card stock, and then just a piece of strip. I just put it across it, and then did my little sleigh bells ring. I don't think I did anything. Nope. But they all have matching envelopes to go with them. Horrible this year. I made all these cards, and I don't think I gave out one Christmas card. Is that not sad? I made so many. I didn't even give my son the one I made for him. Yeah. So starting a new job right before Christmas, everything that had gone on really threw me off. And I was gonna put one in the mailbox for the mail carrier. The day I was gonna do it, I was too tired. I was like, I don't even care that much anymore. I was ready to skip Christmas. I was so exhausted. But and then of course, still having to take care of the dogs when I got home and eat, sleep. There was one day I only got 4 hours of sleep before a 12-hour shift. I think that was between Thursday and Friday. I only got 4 hours of sleep. I literally went Christmas shopping Friday morning. I had gotten a few things from Temu, but not a lot, not much. It was just a couple of small things for them each. But I literally went Friday morning Christmas shopping. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So I'm usually more prepared. Usually start my shopping in like September. And there's usually no last minute shopping for me. This year, a whole different story. So this was the last one. Okay. So while I was playing with my embossing folders also, which I don't recommend it. I used my 4-step stencil. The embossing ink was almost like instantly dried to itself, dried to the stencil. Unless you have I'm gonna guess if you have a better quality stencil. Mine was from Temu, but I stacked them together so that I could um, add the next color. And by the time I had heated it, grabbed the stencils, and went to the bathroom to scrub them down, they were already drying and they were sandwiched together. So unless you put them in a container with soapy water right next to you, if you're doing this 4-step or 2-step or whatever, how many stencils you want to try, make sure you have a bucket of hot soapy water to throw them in, because I think I still have to scrub them again, and I've scrubbed them twice, trying to get the embossing ink off of them. So, my mistake that you don't have to do. It was hard to try to keep the colors separated. So I'm thinking that I probably should have done the red first, then that way there wouldn't be a bunch of red in the white. I did white first, then I did the red. I think I did the green, and then I did the blue. I tried the static, um, anti-static pouch, and it still ended up in places it didn't belong. This one was a challenge because I can see some here, and I even did the little wand brush thing to clean it up. This was just, it was hard for me. It may not be hard for others, but it was also a 4-step process and pretty busy. I like it in the end, but I see where I could have done it a little bit differently. I don't I don't know as far as cleaning it up. I probably could have spent a little bit more time cleaning it up. So I would say start with a darker color. Start with the darker colors and end with the lightest color. That way you don't get all the other colors in it, in the white, or the light color. But it was my first time trying 4 stencils, and holy moly. It was definitely interesting, because it wasn't like you did one and then you moved on to the next one. This was the one sheet, and then I think I had seen, I don't know if it was Marian Emberson do it. I honestly don't even remember who I seen do it. But I liked the card in the end, and adding the still can't think of what that's called. Ugh, ridiculous. But I have a corner punch that I've had for probably, I'm gonna say more than 20 years, and just did 2 of the sides, and then I had a disc circle from punching it out for another project, and that was the pieces left over, and I just took the Distress Oxide and just blended it so it was covered, because I didn't want to waste and cut out a red circle. So I just decided to do the blending brush and do it that way. So sorry. I did take my allergy meds, but and then I just mounted it on the same color paper as the envelope, which is the same color as the snowflake, and just try to coordinate it. So that's it for the Christmas cards. And then I was playing with a punch that I have had for a couple of years. I think I bought it last year maybe, or the year before. And just started punching different colors of paper, printed and solid, and then just started to stack them and do a little curl to the edges and adding little pieces to them and some leaves. And then, sorry, mounted that with sentiment. That's what it is. Water your flower with love. I just mounted that on 3D foam tape. Added a little butterfly to the petals and some diamond, 3D diamond dots. And then I also had taken my corner round and did the corners to it. I'm so sorry. Throat's getting dry too. So while I was playing with my embossing powders, yellow was one of the colors that I hadn't used yet. So last minute I was like, oh, let me use the yellow. Pulled out a stamp. Yes, the stem is too long. Kind of looks funny. I just embossed it once for the sunflower and then did one of each of the leaves. I had no clue what I was going to do with it. Well, this is what happened. I think I made my stock a little too big or too tall. But maybe I'll grab another sunflower and or two more and add one here and add one here to make it not look so funny. I know this one's not done. I just got to figure out how to finish it. But I played with this one tonight. Sorry. And after spending a long time making my mug, learning the system on how you make the mug, that was a whole process in itself. So my creativity kind of went flat with this one. But that's okay. I'm back in my craft room for a couple of more days before I go back to work on Thursday. And hopefully I have some more rest. I definitely need to go to bed and call it a night. But I wanted to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you had a blessed day, enjoying time with family and friends, and maybe got a little spoiled. Hopefully, y'all got spoiled, as I definitely did. um, I missed all of you, and I am glad to maybe start to get back on a routine of sharing, and hopefully soon to be showing some hauls. But I gotta make sure I take care of my bills before I start hauls. But my cart's got a lot of stuff in it for Temu. And I've been itching to go to Joann's and Michael's and Hobby Lobby and Dollar Tree. So hopefully that won't be too far off. In the meantime, I'm going to use what I have and share with you things that I create. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.